Hello and welcome back everybody to the fourth video in the series Polars in Python for Beginners. Today we are looking into how to handle missing data. This is another crucial step when cleaning your data before going ahead and analyzing it for insights. Before we begin, I want to explain to you the difference between null and nan values in polars. Null represents the absence of any value in a column, used for either categorical or numerical data. Nan stands for not a number and is used specifically in floating point columns. It indicates an undefined or unrepresentable number, such as the result of 0 over 0 or taking the square root of a negative number. Unlike null, nan is specific to numerical columns and is part of the data itself, not an absence of data. So let's hop into some coding. Here I am in Visual Studio Code and I have a Jupyter notebook. I have this data frame here with two columns, name and age. As you can see, there are some missing values in those columns. I won't be going through the basic syntax of creating a data frame because I've already covered that in the first part of the series. The first operation available to us is the null count. It will display the number of rows that have null values. We have 1 in name and 2 in age column. Next, we have the isNull method. It will return a boolean array if an entry is null or not. So we can do df.select pl.call name is null. And look, it gives out how many of them are nulls in name and in age. We can also filter the data and say where name is null, that's the age. Let's now look at how we fill these null values. In polars there are 4 ways you can do this, using a literal, a strategy, an expression, or interpolation. Let's fill the null value in the age column with the literal 50. As we can see, the null values have been filled with the value 50. The way strategy works is you specify how you want to fill in the data. Do you want to copy the value from the previous row or the next row? So we have forward and backward to do that. There are some other strategies as well, such as mean, max, min, 1, 0. As we can see, using forward we copied the previous row, and using backward we copied the next row. By using an expression we can fill using the median. For instance, pl.call age.fillNull pl.median. The null values have been replaced with the median age. The interpolate considers the data to have a linearity in its trend and fills based on that. It's useful when you know there's a linear relationship in that column. Let's focus our shift to nan values. One thing to note is that when you run null count, isNull and all those methods for nulls, nan are not counted, they're treated differently. So we also have different methods for nans. I'm going to use this second data frame, which has an interest column containing some nan values. And you can see we only get the count of the null values and not the nans. However, if we do this, we'll get corresponding to the nan values. One further difference between null and nan values is that taking the mean of a column with null values excludes the null values from the calculation, but with nan values, taking the mean results in a nan. As you can see, by taking the mean on the interest column, we get nan. But taking the mean of the age column, we do get some value. What you can do to avoid this confusion of them being treated different is that you can fill the nan values as null by doing this. We use fill nan and none. Before wrapping up, I'd highly encourage you to read this section on missing data metadata from the documentation and do some Google searches on arrow arrays in polars. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you in the next one.